quite a good question I was working on recently on a safari was, where can we see some rhinos? And it's one of those, I haven't really thought about it too much, but yeah, quite a tricky one actually. If a rhino is something you really want to see, a bit of a favourite animal for you or your kids or someone in your group, unfortunately not easy these days to see them anywhere really on safari in Africa anyway, and tricky to plan a trip around them as well. The story is you're dealing with one or two places in most countries where you can reliably see them, and often they'll be in some type of kind of controlled situation, maybe on a small game reserve concession, and you know, these days they have 24-hour security, or they're in a little boma or something. Starting with Tanzania, unfortunately in the south we lost them sometime in the late 80s, and there are a few knocking about in the Selous until, I don't know, maybe a few years ago, depending on who you believe. But now you can't see them there in Ruaha Selous. You can see them if you're really lucky in the Serengeti. There's a certain area there where you can find them, but same again, they're in a kind of area where they're heavily protected, and you just have to be very lucky. They're very skittish. And so the most reliable option is Ngorongoro Crater. Has a good population of black rhino there for a relatively small area. They're also under guard there, but you can see them pretty much every time you go down. How close they are, etc., is a different matter. And yeah, you can get busy around them, and if they're far, they'll just sit down, and then it's sometimes not the best. So yeah, Ngorongoro Crater probably in Tanzania is your best shot, and then East Africa, yeah, not brilliant. I mean, Kenya as well. The northern conservancies, the ranches up there, Barana, Lewa, Olpajeta, you can see rhinos there, white and black rhinos, so that's pretty cool. And then even in Meru National Park, places like that, but hard to see. Nakuru, you know, they're around. So, I mean, the way to look at it is a bit more of a bonus, really. And, you know, it might start to change. Rwanda, they're reintroducing into Akagera, and maybe some other reintroductions on the cards. So, you know, there's some companies and organisations doing that. So let's hope things get better in the future. Southern Africa, bit better. Obviously, South Africa overall pound for pound is your best shot if you want to see rhinos. There are lots of them there, although they still taking a hammering, unfortunately, due to poaching. Chisloo and Filosi, a lot of rhinos there, and Kruger, obviously, and you can get in there yourself and see them. And you can see a lot in a day altogether. Yeah, lots of rhinos there. So that's, I mean, overwhelmingly your best bet. Zimbabwe, there's some around. Wangi, you've got people like Mvele doing pretty cool reintroductions there. Again, it's kind of a Boma situation though. Botswana, there's some properties in Kalahari where you can see them, Kalahari in the pans, and then Delta is possible. Something is sort of like northwest end. Again, nothing guaranteed, and really you just got to get lucky. It's just a bonus. And then Namibia is probably the standout one, because they've got some super cool conservancies there, doing a lot of great work with desert black rhinos, and that's a cool experience because you can go and track them with the rangers and walk them, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, cool kind of conservation success story going on there. So that's awesome if you want to see rhinos in Namibia. And then of course the Etosha side, there's lots of white rhinos over there, and lots of properties and concessions there that are very well known for seeing lots of rhinos. yeah, tricky one to plan your trip around, and yeah, nothing really guaranteed unless you know, South Africa, and Namibia, and a few other spots. But let's hope things improve. So if you want rhinos, something maybe not to build your whole safari around, but you can add certain places and certain destinations on to find them, and then you've got to think about the experience of it. You know, are you seeing them in a controlled situation? Do you have a chance of seeing them in the wild? You know, the really wild, and you know how difficult and how much time are you going to absorb doing that? Rhinos.